Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some fascinating source material to see how artificial intelligence is basically rewiring the brains of future lawyers. We're not just looking at a shiny new piece of software here. We're looking at a fundamental shift in the very reality of professional legal thought. So let's get into it. And that brings us to a massive, really profound question we have to ask ourselves. Is AI the new hyperreality of legal education? Seriously, are we entering this era where a smooth, machine-generated simulation of the law actually feels more real to students than the messy, complicated reality of actual case law? Because when an AI spits out a beautifully structured, seemingly perfect answer to a complex legal problem, it simulates the reasoning of a top-tier candidate flawlessly. But we have to ask, is it actual legal reasoning or just a really intoxicating imitation? To wrap our heads around this, it helps to look at philosopher Jean Baudrillard's concept of hyperreality. It's this idea where the map literally replaces the territory. Think about it like a heavily filtered social media photo, right? It looks vastly better, smoother, just way more perfect than real life. Well, that is exactly what happens when AI summaries replace direct, hands-on engagement with actual legal statutes. In a hyperreality, we actually prefer the simulation because it irons out all those annoying rough edges. And AI, especially the tools built for exam prep, is basically custom-built to generate this hyperreality. It feeds you a steady diet of plausible, super confident answers that, over time, can slowly erode a student's grasp of the actual messy underlying doctrine. Which perfectly illustrates our core contrast here. On one side, we have the incredibly seductive AI-Radio Solicitor, acting as this ambient, always-on synthetic voice. And on the other side, the intellectually sovereign AI-Ready Solicitor. You see, the AI-Radio Solicitor isn't a person at all. It's more of a condition. It's that AI constantly whispering in your ear, always there to fill the silence with totally plausible guidance. But here's the catch. If you let that voice become your ghostwriter, you are literally outsourcing your own cognition. The real goal is becoming the AI-Ready Solicitor, someone who works right alongside powerful tech without ever letting it hijack the formation of their own independent mind. And as you can see from the data, this simulated infrastructure, it has already sunk completely beneath the surface of daily life. I mean, with roughly 92% of UK undergrads using AI tools, mostly just to save time and polish up their work, debating whether AI will enter legal education is totally obsolete. It is already here. The real issue now is, by constantly listening to this ambient AI voice, will future lawyers still know how to think beyond it? All right, moving into Section 1, fluency versus legal judgment. We're talking about the optical illusion of AI competence. Here is the thing. An AI can effortlessly generate this beautifully structured, highly confident explanation that just so happens to be completely dead wrong. That fast, smooth fluency, it completely lacks the slow, messy, heavily accountable process of a real lawyer evaluating real risk. Judgment starts exactly where fluency ends. A novice learner usually encounters the law first through language, and AI is phenomenal at producing organized, confident legal language. But pumping out plausible legal sentences is definitely not the same thing as weighing risk, choosing between competing interpretations, or actually taking real responsibility for a conclusion. And hey, this isn't just some abstract philosophical debate. The UK High Court has literally issued severe warnings after actual practicing lawyers were caught filing court documents that relied on completely fabricated, AI-hallucinated cases. Crazy, right? When you hand over verification to a machine that's designed to predict language rather than check facts, you are risking contempt of court. The courts have made it crystal clear. Accuracy is your duty, not the tools. If you treat AI like some kind of oracle that just magically harmonizes the law into this neat, frictionless doctrine, you are completely bypassing the developmental struggle with real conflicting authorities. Real law is messy. It's full of tension. It has conflicting authorities and unsettled points. AI tends to just iron all of that out, creating this over-smooth version of legal reasoning that simply does not exist in reality. Bottom line, if you rely on the oracle, you completely lose your sensitivity to actual messy legal authority. Okay, let's jump to Section 2, the sparring partner paradox. This is all about reversing the direction of dependency. Think about stepping into a boxing ring. The real paradox here is that while AI makes an absolutely terrible decision maker, it is a phenomenal sparring partner if you use it right. You can use it to force articulation and brutally expose your own weak assumptions. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't complain, and it can endlessly generate counter-arguments or throw new fact patterns at you. Its true value isn't that it has judgment of its own. It's that it can sharpen your judgment through structured, repeated friction. But to do this, you absolutely must preserve the sequence of thought. You have to reason, answer, and commit first. Only then do you bring in the machine to challenge your logic and test your boundaries. This right here is exactly how you reverse the direction of dependency. You perform first, then the AI critiques. If you let the machine draft the first version and you just sit there and tweak it, well, it just colonized the exact space where your legal judgment was supposed to be forming. To survive in actual practice without internalizing all these precision errors, you need strict discipline. Enter the two-source rule. This basically ensures every point of doctrine is anchored in non-AI reality. If you are going to rely on a point of law, you must verify it outside the AI bubble. Literally, never let a chatbot nominate your authorities for you. Remember our earlier analogy? AI outputs are just maps of a hyperreality. You still have to put your boots on the ground and navigate the actual real-world territory of primary sources. Which brings us to our final section, Section 3, Becoming the AI-Ready Solicitor. How do we actually navigate this hyperreality with integrity? So how do we build this mindset? Well, the solution rests on 4 key pillars. First, prioritizing legal judgment, knowing the difference between what's just persuasive and what's actually sound. Second, developing deep AI literacy so you really understand the system limits and those pesky hallucination risks. Third, system thinking, meaning you see the whole workflow, not just the immediate task. And fourth, maintaining rigorous professional self-management. Because an AI-ready solicitor isn't just someone who uses a lot of flashy tech. It's someone who maintains total control over their ethical and professional accountability. And the regulatory guidance is perfectly clear on this point. You can use these powerful tools to augment your workflows, absolutely, but you can never, ever outsource your professional responsibility for the final outcome. The Law Society, the Solicitors Regulation Authority, the Bar Council, they all recognize the immense value of generative AI, but they unanimously insist on human verification, strict confidentiality, and the preservation of human lawyers' skills. Simply put, AI is a tool. It is not a shield. Ultimately, your entire professional identity, your cognitive sovereignty, has to be anchored in this one non-negotiable mantra: I decide, the tools advise. When the AI starts sounding incredibly clever, incredibly confident, you have to be the one who steps back, looks at the screen, and says, thanks for the draft, but I will make the final decision. That right there is the pure essence of professional self-governance. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. When the stakes are high, when you are standing in front of a real judge representing a real client, whose judgment do you actually want to rely on? The ambient, hyperreal voice of a machine that simply simulates competence, or the resilient, rigorously trained voice of your own professional judgment? Curate your tools, command your workflows, for sure, but above all else, protect your mind. Keep questioning the map and keep exploring the territory.